Hello and welcome to the Witch's Realm. I'm Andrea Franco, intuitive business mentor.
And I'm Amanda Root, mindset and manifestation mentor. We created this podcast as a safe space for women to connect and come out of the witch's closet and own their magic.
We discuss everything from business, pleasure, spell work, sex, wealth, and how to live a magically abundant as fuck life.
Yeah, get ready to tune in and get turned on. Welcome back to the Witch's Realm.
Welcome back.
Welcome
we
back,
missed
witches.
you.
We missed you. Today is January 24th and episode 12. It's hard to believe that we've recorded 12 of these.
I know, I feel like it's been like a whole year.
It is, and I feel like we've been doing this every month or every week. So how do we have 12?
I don't know.
We're special.
I mean, I feel like we just took so many breaks and so many.
Yeah, COVID. Christmas.
Between I went away on a retreat.
Yeah.
You went away on vacation over the summer. We were just kind of a hot mess for a little while.
But we made it to 12.
But we made it to 12. And now we're really
We're on a roll.
We're going to get them up every Monday and be on a roll.
Yeah.
I just feel it.
Yeah.
I think we, like with everything, you got to get into a groove.
Yeah.
And I feel like we finally got the group going.
I know. I love it.
I'm proud of our group now.
Me too.
It took us a little time to get here.
We started from the bottom. Now we're here. Episode
All
12. So today we got a couple questions about messages that we receive. We both talk a lot about I hear this, downloads, information we receive, and we got actually a couple questions about
Guides.
Who is telling you this information.
I think I get that all the time from people of well, who are your guides and how do you connect with them? And I think that the answer to the question is just so there's not one way to answer it because there are so many different guides. So we wanted to jam it on the.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I think the people want to know also, if you are new to the space, how do you go about connecting with spirit guides?
Mm-hmm.
How do you find out who they are, what the messages that they're bringing you? So yeah. What is the first spirit guide that you remember, or the first voice you remember hearing?
I think that I started connecting to passed over loved ones before I started connecting to archangels.
Same.
Or Mary or Lilith or any of the other type of guides that I connected to. It was people. I remember I was in my friend's car and I felt an energy and I was like, what the hell? And I was like, do you have chocolate in your car? And I was like, who are these rosary beads from? And she was like, I have chocolate in here from my grandmother and I've never taken it out. And she pulls it out. And I was like, how the fuck would I know that? Right.
Yeah.
But my Uncle Bob, I also feel is someone, I've connected with all the time. And that was many years ago.
I've connected with him too.
I feel he must be really tired because between me
He's
and
all
his
over the place. 3
kids, he has so many people to look out for. And thankfully I'm finally on the straight and narrow. But I mean, I remember, I'm going to tell this story. You ready? So funny. It's kind of funny. You're going to be like,
Am I in this story?
No.
Thank God.
So when I first got sober in June of 2018, I did a Whole30, remember?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then of course, day 30, I got fucking tanked.
Mm-hmm.
And then I stopped finally, but I don't know. I was like, oh, the first thing I'm going to bring back is alcohol. And I went and I got obliterated. I hadn't had alcohol, so I really didn't even drink a lot.
And when you're on the Whole30, the other thing is too, it's very low carb, low sugar. And so everything is going to affect you. You can't just do that. You're going to get blackout.
So I remember, I will never forget this as long as I live. I remember waking up, I was obliterated. And then I remember opening my eyes and something shoving my face and me throwing up on the side of the bed. And then not being able to, I was blackout. So then I put my head back down and I remember feeling him around me. Idiot. It felt that's how people die, by the way, is choking on their vomit, whatever. And I just felt like a spirit, like, and another time, one of my crazy moments like that as well, I just felt him there, and I felt him be like, you know, what the hell? But I have connected to him so many times regarding like his daughters or different things. He will come through. He's one of like the loudest spirits that I talk to. And so I think that was when I started really, it's easier. I think for me, it was easier on the journey because like I knew him. I knew what he looked like, what he felt like, what connecting with him felt like. And so it was easier for me to trust. Because like when I started connecting to Lilith or Mary or Jesus or Archangel Michael, I didn't really understand at first how to do that. And so I think we can go into that. But tell me about your first couple of times.
No, I mean, same. I wonder, like, from just what you were saying, like, if maybe that's why, because I connected with like passed over loved ones first as well, like someone that I knew that had died. And I remember being super young, being like maybe 5 when my great grandmother died. And my mom, I don't remember this. Like my mom, this is like a story that my mom tells, but that, you know, I used to like talk to her basically. And that just increased over time. But I think what you're saying about like knowing the person and knowing their energy and their energy being familiar. And so when you feel it, you're like, oh yeah, this that actually makes sense that this is that person. When my grandfather passed away, I would smell his pipe, which was really cool. He smoked a pipe when I was a kid. It was like a really distinct smell. And, you know, shortly after he passed away, I remember smelling it. But really I remember feeling like with the archangels a little bit nervous, and like with like even Lilith or some of like the more, because, you know, there's like polarity among different entities or deities or whatever. Sometimes like those big, you know, ones that multiple people are connecting with, they can be a little bit intimidating. But my grandmother, like Saint Anthony, I think everyone can like attest to that one. That's one that like people do and they don't even realize what they're doing, but they're kind of praying. It's similar to praying and prayer.
I think it's, now that you're bringing up, I'm almost like, so many people go to church and they pray to God and they pray without really knowing who they're connecting to. But when you get into spirituality, it is like praying what we're doing.
Totally. It's extremely similar practice. And it feels to me, you know, it's like the same vibration.
Yeah, I agree.
The same
I mean, because I
energy.
have like, obviously I grew up Catholic and I prayed. So.
Same. Anytime I would lose anything, like my grandmother, she's famous for knowing where lost shit is. Like I got a text. Oh, my phone's recording us. I got a text this weekend that was like, I need the help of the Warakomsky women. Like that's my maiden name. And, you know, this car was missing and someone wanted to know where it was. And I said I would ask my grandmother, but the first thing she would say is like, oh, well, we have to pray to Saint Anthony. But like even with the archangels, like there are different archangels that have like very specific purposes. Like, you know, even like Saint Christopher, even saints.
So do you recommend that people do some research? Because that's something I actually have to say. Although a lot of the connections I make, I do feel are energetic. I also think, I don't know, this is randomly popping up where like, I like to research the guides and know what their intention kind of is. Like Saint Anthony, we know is like for losing things.
Lost
also,
things,
do you know Saint Anthony connects like lovers? Kelly told me about that. And so sometimes I'll feel drawn to an energy, or I'll give an example, like a random ass energy. I remember I went to Salem and oh my God, am I forgetting the fucking name? Caradwin. Remember we worked with that statue?
Yeah. It was a dude, right?
No, it's a woman, a big ass. What we did a love spell that called in my last boyfriend. She was a shapeshifter.
Oh,
you probably don't even remember this.
I do
this was
remember
a while ago.
her. Yeah.
But I walk into the store in Salem, and this statue is very expensive, by the way. And I'm like, I have no idea why I want this statue. And then I find out that I was like, the lady was like, whoever takes this home is one special woman. And I was like, I'm one special woman. But I'm like, but I was also like really drawn.
Yeah.
Like I actually left and went back and got it. I couldn't stop thinking. I was like, I don't know who this. So then I Googled and I was like, who's Caradwin? And it was like a shapeshifter. And like, it was exactly this moment in my life where I was up leveling. Yeah. And like everything written about this woman, I was like, this is me. This is like.
Yeah. I feel
it was crazy. And so then I bought the statue, did more research. And this is the other thing I wanted to mention of like, then I found out like what to offer her, what is something that you can give. Because I feel like this is like multifaceted where, it's not just connecting and researching and knowing. It's then like, especially if you're doing a spell or a prayer, which we're usually asking for something. Well, what are we giving in return? Because I feel like so often we pray and we ask, and like just like giving to Mother Gaia, it's like, what are you giving to the statues? Like upstairs, Hades has vodka.
I think it's about giving, symbolically and also energetically, like giving with gratitude, expressing gratitude in the moment when you're, doing the offering or the prayer ritual or whatever. But what you were saying about like researching them, I think that so animals are also like, I love spirit animals. You made me get that book. I love animal guides. It's just like such a strong connection for me.
Yeah.
And so I think that when we start doing the research and we start looking them up, because like you feel it energetically pull you in, then you're like, I want to go further. You look it up. And when you look it up, then you start to realize the significance, why this might be happening to you. And then you can go deeper and explore the connection and then start working with that energy.
I agree. And because I think it's like one of my most commonly asked questions.
Yeah.
Of like, well, how do you know if you should work with them? Or, sometimes it defies logic, for me at least. When I hear someone say it, or I see something, or I hear about something, or I'm just randomly connected and I trust. Like when I moved to the beach house, I felt like the energy of Poseidon. And like that is like the ocean. And I was like, okay. So I went and bought like that. And for me, and I know not everyone like goes this deep with their stuff, but like if I start connecting, I want the statue in my house. Because like I want to see it. So like when I was starting to do some love stuff and some like, I started really wanting work on my feminine, and Lilith is like the embodiment of like sexual diva feminine in the dark feminine. I have 2 statues of her upstairs. I was like, her. I need her vibe everywhere.
She's amazing.
I do. I really love working with her because she has so many different things. It's like power, the dark feminine, lust, love.
Back to playing with my mic.
I know, you're famous. I know. All right, what's one of your favorite non-passed over loved ones guide to work with, and why?
I love to work with a snake. Mary Magdalene is like one of my favorite big ones. I've always felt super connected to her. I feel like she was more than who she was depicted to be in history. And, I believe that she is someone who can really make things happen. I've called on her many times.
Talk about Maria.
I've called on her many times, and she has always been really good to me. I love also, I love the gargoyle that you have.
Oh my God, Fred?
Yes. I need a gargoyle in my life. I don't have one, and I need one. That is definitely something that I'm lacking in the
It was
guides.
so weird that you're bringing that up because I wanted...
Is it though?
Well, I was thinking this today when I went to the house that I'm buying, the turtles. I was like, I wanted to name one of them Fred, and my guides were like, you need to put Fred the gargoyle out by the turtles. Yeah. And I was like, why? Like, it's just like,
so
you get these random intuitive
super
hits.
Connected to the turtles when I met them today.
Okay.
I was like
did I tell
vibing
you,
with them.
Did I tell you the story? I did. I had to tell you the story.
You told me. Tell it again.
it was the greatest thing. Like,
Tell her
here's the
again,
other things,
please.
not just connecting. Like, sometimes I don't know who I'm connecting with when I'm asking for a sign.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. Like, if you just feel an energy, like sometimes if you're new to
Because it could be guides or it could be guides. I might have 20 motherfuckers around me. No, I shouldn't call them motherfuckers. That's not nice. But like, whatever, I swear they don't care. But I was like in my car and I was like, I'm making this craziest decision of my life, the biggest investment of my life. And this is scary. And I was like, I know that I'm doing the right thing, but can you just show me that I'm doing the right thing? Like, I balls to the wall asked.
Yeah.
Me and my cousin get in the car. And so this new house that I'm buying has turtles in it. I shit you not. As soon as I said that, I look up and there's a Jeep, and those Jeeps have the big tire thingy in the back, and it's a big fucking turtle on the back of the Jeep.
Of course it is.
Like, I've never seen a turtle on a car in my whole life. And I mean, not like a sticker. I mean, like, it looked like a cloth that was covering the whole back of the car, and this big ass turtle like this woman has in her house. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, like when you said, "Oh, the house has turtles," like I thought, like, they would be yay big.
They're like
they
turtles.
were like Ninja Turtles,
Yeah.
like Teenage Mutant.
Like, what kind of turtles do you think those are?
Snapping? Like,
Yeah,
they
could eat you turtles.
Like, they're carnivorous. I don't know.
Yeah, they maybe.
I'm
eat the
excited
fish.
to play with them. I will swim with them in that little aquarium. Whatever.
Oh my
We're
God.
gonna get crazy in the new house. I'm pumped.
But I just think that, like, that's the other thing is I feel like people, when I'm getting this question are like, well, like, how do you know? And I have to connect to this like spirit, or I'm like sometimes I don't even know, like sometimes it's like I'm connecting to Lilith, or I'm connecting to Mary, or I'm connected to Archangel Michael. And sometimes it's like I know my guides are around me and I feel them, and listening to those intuitive hits from your guides. It's extremely important.
So one of the questions that we got specifically was about connecting with them. So
Okay.
I figured we would like talk about this anyway, and you brought it up. So for me, and I'll give you an example.
I didn't sleep last night. I'm yawning.
That's exactly what I was going to talk about last night, trying to fall asleep. So weird. Okay.
We're disconnected today.
So totally. So
It's the house.
I lost somebody recently,
Yeah.
someone near and dear to my heart. And lately, sleep has been a problem pretty much since she died. And that is something that happens to me very frequently when I lose someone close to me. So it's happened with my friend Joey that passed in, I don't even know, 2011, and then or 2012, and then my uncle that passed, and then now my friend.
I remember
that
we
passed away.
reconnected when your uncle passed away.
Yeah. And so
That was a crazy thing too.
right after someone that I'm close with crosses and is in the sort of like the process of crossing over, I cannot sleep. And
Why do you think that is?
I feel like because I'm just looking for them to I want all of the communication possible, and that's when I get the most communication is at night, when like I should be sleeping like at 2-3 in the morning. And so I feel like if you're in bed, you're laying down, you're wanting to connect with your guides. Like last night I was having a hard time falling asleep, and I just laid there. I laid in my bed, focused on my breath, and I invited that energy. It's about not being afraid and trusting and saying, like, bring that energy into me, concentrate on that energy, and allow yourself to really hear and see and trust. Because that's what you were saying before, like, you trusted yourself.
Yeah.
And
sometimes I think it's like, this is crazy. I don't know why. Like, and though every time that I've trusted, like I always say that it's not me,
it's not. I say the same
because
thing.
So a lot of my crazy, wacky decisions have all been from my guides leading me there. Like, I will even say, like, I will swear up and down on this. A glass exploded in my hand when I was It was like a freak accident. Like, the glass was not hot, nor was it cold. That table had gotten up for a half hour. And I went to go clean it and pick it up and it exploded in my hand. Like there was just like no.
And that incident changed the course
of my entire
the
life.
whole thing.
Like
and I
that's
remember
literally
that
from bed. I started my food blog, then my media. Like that's what like brought me on this trajectory, you know? And I think that they did that. And I think that, you know, when I invested in my very first coach, I randomly saw something online and like I felt somebody in the room be like, you need to go.
Yeah.
And so like I went and then I invested money I didn't have in this coach that I had no idea who she was. That changed my life.
Yeah. When you called me that day and you were like out of nowhere, I hadn't talked to you in maybe like, I don't know, when I had the baby, what, like a year and a half? What was he, like a year old? So my pregnancy plus, so like, I think we didn't talk for like a year and a half. And you called me up that day. My uncle had just died. I texted literally you. I was drunk. Sitting on my back porch.
You never
crying.
answer me that fast, ever. So I knew, weird. I was like, I said to the girl, I was like, I'm going to text her because I know that you know, help people with fertility. And I was like, it was the weirdest thing. I was sitting outside and I was drinking and I felt like someone near me be like, you got to text her. And I was like, I don't think she's going to answer me, but I'm having this overwhelming feeling like I need to text her. And you text me back. You were like, so weird. I feel like my uncle just died and this is a sign.
Yeah, but it even went further than that because like then you were like, you know, you need to be doing this. Like I had
beat you up.
Stopped reading.
Yeah.
I had not read a single person. And
you almost didn't want to meet with me.
When I'm in pain, a lot of times, like I usually don't go back to reading right away. Like this time with Megan has been the fastest that I've ever gone back to reading. And because like I had clients that were counting on me, but like in the past, you know, especially after my uncle, like I just was not wanting to like open that door for someone else because I want it open for me. It's like a selfish thing. And so last night I was like, you know, inviting both of their energies to like come through and just, you know, allow me to sleep and, you know, bring me comfort and guidance because sometimes, you know, we need that. And the other thing I was going to say too is like my cards are a vibe in themselves. Like my cards do not lie. It's not me. It's my cards. Like they are an entity. Like they are an energy.
Yeah, for sure. It's so funny. Oh my God. Have I ever told this story on the podcast? I don't think I have. So the tarot cards that we just read with, those are from one of my past boyfriends. He went to, did I ever tell you the story?
I don't know.
He went to what do you call those things an estate sale. And he comes home and, you know, sometimes he knew I was witch and he was like, couldn't get enough of it, even though he pretended he could. But he said, he got two of them, one for me, one for you. And I was like, you got me what? And I had not read tarot before. And I was like, oh, you know, Amanda has those.
And that was during the time that we were on our hiatus. Like I was probably birthing a child at that moment.
And so, because when I was dating him, we weren't really talking. And
because I had a newborn.
Yeah. No, I remember when he was looking at rings, I was like, oh my God. And you were like, you're nuts. Anyways, wait, best part. So I felt that these tarot cards had a really strong energy on them. Speaking of connecting, right?
I like those cards.
And oh my God, I have never experienced this in my whole life. And I don't know, I really care what anybody thinks about this. So I said to him, I was like, put those tarot cards over there. And of course, because he had OCD and he loved being clean, which I can appreciate nowadays, he puts them in my purse next to me sleeping. Did I ever tell you the story? And I wake up in the middle of the night and this woman is standing. I had never seen a clear spirit so clearly before because I don't like seeing.
I do remember you telling me.
And she came right over me and she was like, who the fuck are you? You know, like I mean, when I tell you I was scared shitless, I woke him up. And I was like, babe, wake up. She's here. And he was like, he thought I was a fucking crackpot. So what does this dude do? Because he doesn't believe. I was like, where'd you put the cards? He was like, oh, they're next to you. I was like, oh my God. So I was like, move them. So he moves them to the computer desk. And then he goes upstairs and leaves me in the pitch black. I was like, turn the light on.
Oh my God.
So he comes back downstairs and the freaking computer starts going on and like flickering. And I was like, you believe me now? You believe me now?
You
and I think
always
he did.
get the flickering lights.
I know. And he looked at me and he wouldn't admit it, but he was like, that's weird. I was like, it's because you put the tarot cards over there now. She's here. Her spirit is here. But I had never had something from an object try to connect to me. So I think that's something that we can bring up too, because I do think that some objects hold the vibration 100%. Or frequency of either passed over loved ones or like these statues that live Lilith and stuff like that. And that we need to like allow that connection.
Yeah, totally.
Anyways, that was the scariest thing of my life. I wanted to punch him in the face.
It could also be like, you know, something that has always interested you, especially with like animals, like, you know, something that you've always been like drawn to.
I would never understand, like, so I always had an interest in wolves, and I just thought it was like, I have an interest in wolves. And I was like, no, the wolf is my spirit guide. And then when we started reading up on like the wolf and like, you know, the leader, you know, I like, honestly, my alone time. I really do. Like I am like the leader of the pack, but also I will like go out by myself. And like, there are just so many things that I relate to, not just like seeing a wolf all of the time and being like very drawn to it, but the characteristics and, you know, a lot of what the wolf omen is. So I literally set my background on my phone as a wolf, and I had wolves all over my apartment, and I literally have like a painting drawn on a feather of a wolf, and I started honoring the spirit of the wolf, you know, and instead of saying like, oh, that was just a feeling or writing it off, I rode deeper into it.
Yeah.
And I feel like so many people don't do that because they think they're crazy.
Yeah. Or they like get freaked out. Like growing up, used to have like this guy in my room that used to bother me, and he used to freak me out, and like I didn't want to connect with him. So you know, I think sometimes people just get freaked out and then they close themselves off to the experience. You know, now I mean, like, I guess nothing can hurt me.
No, I guess I was like that. I remember the first time I ever heard a voice. I was on the phone with my grandfather, and I heard a spirit go, hello. And I was like, Pop, don't you hang up the phone. And he was like, what? I was like, please, I know you don't believe in this stuff, but please just don't hang up. You know, and it was just like, it was scary. Like I started to like see and hear, and all these things started happening. I thought it was a knot.
Yeah.
And I remember that's when I started leaning on, and that's where you have to lean on support and ask questions, because my mentors and the people that I was the closest to, I was like, okay, well, clearly I'm not a nut, but like, can you tell me, what does this mean? What am I supposed to do? I think that's,
and that's
where
probably
now we're
why,
answering
like, when
questions.
I met you, you were asking me like 9,000 million questions.
I had no shame
you were
in my
like,
questions.
wait a minute, how do you hear them? Like, what do you, am I hearing them too? And I was like, well, yeah, probably. If you're hearing them, yeah, you are.
I thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
And you kind of made me feel like I wasn't.
Yeah. I have that effect on people.
I just was like, I need to
normalize talking to dead people.
I mean, I just, so before I went to see you and your grandmother, I had probably seen like 6 or 7 other like phony psychics. Like I remember the lady on the green in like West Haven. She was like saying, I mean, when I'm telling you the most basic, generic, like, and when I walked in, she was like, you can't tell anybody about this. You can't write it down. I was like, that's how you know they're fake. You know, it's like, it's not a secret.
Yeah.
But it was like it was horrible. It was just like, and she gave me just like yucky vibes too. And then I went to, I don't know, I went all kinds of places, and I just didn't feel met or understood, or like, I just feel like there is a whole part of what we do that's like played on to get money.
Totally.
I mean, like the lady in downtown Milford. I'm saying this on the podcast. I don't really give a shit.
You are.
I'm sorry. That was not nice. But she tells people they have curses. And then
I don't love anyone that, you know,
and then takes their money. Fuck you.
The curses thing is like out of control.
I mean, that's manipulation in its purest, because when you tell someone they have a curse, if they're vulnerable or someone who's easily you know, I'm sorry, but sometimes I don't want to call people gullible, but I do think that when someone says the word curse, you're like, get it off me, like a monster, you know? And I feel like I've heard that woman use that and like take high numbers and people pay their last dollar to break the curse when they're not
I've
cursed.
heard a lot of stories too.
Yeah, I'm glad I said it on the podcast because I hope that she gets taken down.
I'm glad I'm wearing my evil eye today. Thank you. See no evil.
I always have mine on.
I was gonna say, do you have one?
Yeah, I'm always wearing one.
Yeah. No, this was a good topic. I feel like it's feeling very relevant for me right now. I feel like I have been really wanting to kind of be in that world rather than this world lately. I'm not loving the 3D reality that this world is in right now. And people, another question that I feel like we get, or I get a lot and we got, is like, okay, how do you know that they're happy? So have you ever connected with an energy and felt that they weren't happy?
No. Okay, so I've felt like people were repenting or sorry, but I've never felt unhappy, I don't think.
I had this one girl come see me. Her boyfriend had drowned in a river, and she was in the river with him and was trying to hold him, and he slipped away.
Oh, God.
And it was literally the most heartbreaking person that ever like came through to me. And he kind of like talked about her face and how they were locked eyes at the moment and like the look. And he was so visibly and audibly upset. I still have never experienced anything like it where like he was in tears. And I was like, wow, because 99.9% of the time, even if they died in horrible circumstances, they're so happy. But he like really didn't want to go. He was fighting to come back.
That's what I felt a lot. Like if I felt something where they were either like still transitioning because they weren't really gone yet, or they didn't understand that they were dead. There was a guy in my apartment that I think tragically died when I moved into Orange.
Yeah. And
it was like he didn't understand who I was or why I was in his apartment.
Yeah.
And he wanted to get rid of me. And I was like, oh, you need to go to the light.
Yeah.
And he didn't understand. So, but I feel like tragic deaths like that, or unexpected, shall I say. People who like.
But even some people that are unexpected, like they're so at peace, like very soon after. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah. I guess I've never gone deep. I want to know, funny enough, your grandmother was the one who told me and this isn't very nice, but it's the truth. Sorry. My mother's mother wasn't the nicest human. So she was rough. She was rough. However, she is one of my top guides. And so I remember.
Who is this?
Her name is Christine. It's my great grandmother.
Oh, your grandmother's
grandmother, the
mother.
one who was there today. Yeah.
Her mother.
Okay.
I thought you said your mother's mother. I'm like, I know your mother's mother. She's very nice.
She's very much alive. I actually really didn't know this woman in the 3D.
Okay.
In this lifetime, I mean, we weren't close.
Yeah, but you're super connected to her. We've talked about this before.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
That's where you get your nasty side from. I love you.
Yo, she could be vicious. But the funny thing is, the first time I connected with her, I was told that she was repenting. And she was said, can you tell my grandmother that I'm sorry? And I was like, oh, damn. So I felt like she was like in a little purgatory type thing.
Yeah.
And she was repenting for who she was while she was in, her body on earth. And it was weird when we started connecting, and it was crazy. I feel like she helps some of my clients connect to people that they actually weren't close with.
I'm sure.
And I'm like, oh, your grandmother. And I'm like, on your mom's
complicated
side. And they were like, well, no. And I'm like, no, that's who's here.
Yeah.
Like maybe you don't like her, but she likes you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it was weird for me because I did. Like I would hear my grandmother tell stories and I'd be like, and then I think when I started connecting with her, like I was like, okay, I can forgive you,
I just feel like once they've crossed over, like they have this like profound wisdom about them that's just so cool. And
Yeah, she's fierce to connect with.
yeah, it makes me not be afraid to die.
I know. I feel like Betty White spoke about this.
Yeah.
Like she's not afraid to die.
Yeah. Well, Megan passed away like right after Betty White, and at the services, her brother said like that she was so upset that like he thinks that she wanted to be like right behind her in line at the pearly gates.
I love that.
And I believe it. Like they would have been BFFs.
Yeah.
And then last weekend when I was away for my birthday, I was talking to her brother that morning. We were talking about how like we were sad. And I went in the bathroom at this restaurant that we were at, and behind me was a signed poster of Betty White. And I had said to him, like, I know she's going to come see me on my birthday. Like, I know she's going to come. I'm going to feel her. Because I felt her very, very closely when she first passed. And that's pretty much what is like textbook happens for me. And then it starts to get like a little less frequent. And I think that's why I stopped reading, because I just want to like keep them there. But yeah, it's fucking wild. And I mean, yeah, I have moments where I think I'm crazy. I'm like, I mean,
I think we have to be
crazy?
We have to be some kind of crazy to choose to actually activate, open, and listen to this stuff. Because if we wanted to be normal, we'd be like, no. But I can just tell you. And I think
it's so easy to just be like, that doesn't exist. This is the first time that I'm really opening up about this, because you can laugh, but I don't like doing it for clients. However, it's come through so much over the past couple of months because my gifts have been opening. I remember I was on a call with a client and I didn't know that her husband passed over. And I was like, there's a man here and blah, blah, blah. And then there was like, and it was me matching up with the tarot too. I was like, heartbreak, da, da, da. And she was like, yeah, I knew, but I didn't, what were I going to say? Your husband's here? Yeah. I was like, what the hell? I was just confused. And she was like, yeah, he died. And I was like, oh. And then it was like, he took my brain with him. Yeah. And I was like on a hike and this and that. Yep. And I was like, he started like, it was like full blown. And I was like, he asked you why you're not hiking anymore. And it was like, almost like I couldn't stop the words from coming out of my mouth. Yeah. Once you turn that faucet on, you just let it flow.
And she was like, the second I said that, she was like, oh my God, that's what we used to do together. And I was like, oh my God. Like, and it was just very specific things that they tell me where I just couldn't bullshit if I tried to. And I feel like that's been coming through a lot with passed over loved ones. Like Hannah's father came through. One of my clients for a VIP day, she came here. Her father came through. One of my great friends was here a couple weeks ago. Her grandmother and her grandmother came through. Literally, she said to me, she started singing, and I said, oh, dude, you're my only sunshine. And she said, I sang that she sang that to me when I was a kid. I was like, this, it gets creepy. It gets creepy. So, I mean, it's really cool, but you've got to open your ears.
Yeah. And you have to try to speak
in
the
your
language.
eyes, in your eye.
In your eye. Yeah. The third eye. I love it. I love it.
I feel like we went deep.
This was a great episode.
This is a portal opening episode, and from here let's take some questions. Like, do you want us to go deeper? Are there any specific guides
I would love some follow-up questions.
Like, are you looking to connect to, so we know where, like, are we going deeper on this? Do you want to know more about like dark feminine guides? Like, what do you want to know?
And any other questions?
Yeah,
any other questions? The Witches Realm podcast at gmail.com. We will answer your questions on the next show.
We definitely are going to have some retreats coming, so stay tuned for that.
Yes.
That'll be definitely sooner than later.
We
Obviously, to stay
to give you the
connected,
deets.
Intuitive Boss Babe community. Follow us on IG, add us, look at our websites. We love you.
Yes, we love you.
And we'll see you next episode. Mwah!
For lucky episode 13.
Oh, love it.
We're going to have to go a little dark on that one.
Oh, shit. All right.
Bye.
I'm here for it.